Hey guys, Chad Hoover. This week I'm in La Crosse, Wisconsin, exploring the backwaters of the Mississippi River, looking for some big old bass. Oh man.
Get up and put on the coffee. You know the sunlight won't last. Making my way to the country. I'm gonna catch a big old bass.
That is a stud. Got him. Don't throw that hook. Oh, yeah! Ooh! Booyah! Good morning, guys. We are in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I'm excited to hook up with Jeremiah from the Wisconsin Bass Nation. He's going to show me the backwaters of the Mississippi just outside of La Crosse. We're going to try to hook up with some really good bass in the backwaters, but I'm excited for the opportunity to catch some pike. And apparently there are some really mean and nasty dogfish, as they call them up here, bowfin or grinnell, where I'm from. So, backwater Mississippi River, here we come. Well, I'll tell you what, these fish are not going to long for surface feeding opportunities, because this is one of the thickest mayfly hatches that I've ever seen. I mean, there are mayflies out here that you can breathe in.
We're in what we call the Goose Island area of Mississippi River Pool 8 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And what's so nice about this area is there's so much room for a kayaker to come back here with all these different sloughs and cuts and backwaters, you know, to kind of get away from the main traffic. And there, you can see that everything around us, it's a real fertile environment. There's a lot of grass, a lot of places for these bass to hide. So it's going to be a nice morning. Pike. Pike are considered a game fish here. A lot of people eat them. They're really good eating, probably second to walleye. Some guys would probably argue better than walleye. And they're so abundant that it doesn't hurt anything if you keep a couple every now and then. So we got a small little northern pike here, one of the many species that you'll catch out here in these backwaters. This is a little guy, a few years old. Real abundant out here in the Mississippi River. But we'll go ahead and put him back in the water. There's a fish right behind me. Oh man! Oh, it's a big dogfish. Now this is a trash fish, but they are exciting to catch, that's for sure. These fish here are literally dinosaurs. And their heads are like rock.
All right, guys, so here's the deal. I am a self-professed frog fishing fanatic. All right, so I'm just going to compare two hollow body frogs and show you, a little tip that I like to do with my frogs. Almost all these frogs come with what I consider legs that are too long. All right, here's a quick tip on how I measure my legs. And over the years, I've developed this as a way to make sure that the legs aren't too short, they aren't too long, and they look proportionate. So you just grab the legs and fold them up and trim them off, even with the body, even with the nose, okay? And so what you end up with is you end up with a frog that walks good. You end up with a frog that the legs stand out a bit, and so when you lay it down, they're literally even with the end of the body. That gives you a nice proportion. It comes through the water good, and if you hop the tip, it makes it walk the dog a little bit. But one thing I don't think people do enough of is adding scent to their frogs. So I just add a little scent to it, gives it that extra little bit of realism. You can take the legs, fold them over, rub it in that scent, gets rid of your human scent, and it gives it that extra, quarter second to half second of them hanging onto it for you to set the hook. So cut the legs off equal to the length of the body, add a little scent to your frogs. You'll increase your hookup ratio, you'll catch more fish, and you'll definitely get more of them, not just to the boat, but in the boat. And this stuff actually tastes pretty good, because sometimes I've tied the knot on and I get it in my mouth. I'm like, that tastes pretty good. Actually, before I tell you that, let me make sure this stuff is not toxic. Yeah, it says it. 100% organic, non-toxic, and it's handcrafted. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but this is this particular attractant is John Cox, FLW Forcewood Cup champion, his personal mix. Calls it Cox juice. It's good stuff. Tastes pretty good too. Not Right Kayak Fishing is brought to you by Bonafide Kayaks. Stability, agility, ultimate fishability. Yak Attack, make it yours. The iCatch app, the most advanced tournament fishing application. Power Pole Micro Anchor, swift, silent, secure, and small. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate with Lowrance. This week I'm in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where I've hooked up with local pro Jeremiah Shaver.
My name is Jeremiah Shaver. I'm 37 years old. I live here in the La Crosse area. I'm a network administrator by day for a county government across the river here. My real passion is fishing. Oh, there he is.
Nice.
Oh man. I'm the president of the Wisconsin Bass Nation, something I've been involved in for a little over a decade. And it's a really enjoyable experience for me. It's allowed me to meet a lot of cool people across the country, and we've had professional bass tours come here, the Bassmaster Elite Series, along with some other national trails, and I've been part of that. I promise you we're gonna catch a bass today. I also am running a little side venture myself called Chasing 20. I think it's a mantra that resonates all across the country for bass anglers. Whenever we go out in a tournament trail, we're always trying to reach that 20-pound bag. It also applies to our kayaking bass guys. It's a little different for them. I think they're chasing 20-inch fish for their tournament trail. So it's something I think resonates with a lot of different anglers, and I'm really looking forward to see where it goes. He's having a hard time getting through this mat. He can feel it, but he ain't getting it.
Well, Jeremiah, that one wasn't a swing and a miss for sure. The first one was a giant blow up. That one was a hookup, so probably ain't gonna eat it again.
No.
But he might have a cousin in there.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, if maybe there's a couple sitting in here. This grass here, it's not even grass. It's like a pussy green slime that gets real super thick over the top of this milfoil. Well, the bass love the milfoil underneath of it, but the problem is this stuff is so thick, I don't even want to touch it, that a bass will pop up into it and he has a hard time locating that frog. They can feel the vibrations, but they can't hone in on it just right. So a lot of times they'll show themselves by popping at it, and you've got to keep working that fish over almost till he creates his own blowhole that hopefully he'll come back and hit in that hole. A lot of times you just slow that frog down like that. But no matter what you do, you got to execute, and I am not executing. You get to the point where it's a straight on battle between you and this fish now, Oh, did you see that? He knocked the frog completely out of the water. There he is, right here. I can't get him too close to the boat. I won't be able to set the hook. There's a fish right behind me. Oh, man. Oh. Another dogfish. Yeah, at least I didn't have to touch him. Oh, man.
Well, there he is. Oh, yeah. Love it. Yeah, buddy. All right, guys. If you haven't heard of this thing yet, it is called the sprinkler frog. And company's Teckle, I believe is how you say it. And it's relatively new. That thing devoured it and got both hooks in the top. So let me pop this out of here and I'll give you guys a closer look. These bass are up in this grass, chunky, solid and aggressive. And man, if you're from the South like I am, you don't expect Wisconsin to just have miles of pad fields, but the way this thing works is a lot like a soft plastic frog, like a hollow body, except it's a double hook like a standard soft plastic frog, and it's got a weighted kill in the back and then a tail that spins, which is basically like the tail end or the foot end of a hollow body swim bait combined into one bait. But man, that body is super soft and the hook angles are kind of up and out, so it's got a really good hookup ratio. And if you'll notice, the body's wider than the hook points. So as it comes through the grass, it just does a good job of parting the stuff, so you don't end up picking up trash. It's nice and clean, just a great little setup. It's called the sprinkler frog, and so far up here in Wisconsin, they love it. Let's see if we can get another one. The city of La Crosse is nestled in an unbelievably diverse backdrop of fishing.
You know, I've lived in La Crosse about 30 years, and I absolutely love it here. There's just so much to do in the outdoors.
One of the things that I absolutely love about this area, in La Crosse County, really gives you that feel of a small town, but yet we offer a variety of amenities. There are over 100 eateries to enjoy, most of them privately owned, so you get that regional feel of cuisine and so forth. Lots of nightlife downtown, great music venues as well. So once you're done doing what you want to do for the day, you can take in some nightlife, enjoy it, and have some great meals.
What's great about the La Crosse area too, and especially the Mississippi River, it doesn't really matter what type of fish you're after, whether you're targeting something specifically or if you're just going out trying to catch anything. That's what's great about the river, is it's so abundant with a plethora of different types of fish.
Well, there he is. Oh yeah. All right, guys, so I have no problem falling on the sword when I need to. The rod did its job. The lure did its job. The fish did its job. I didn't have my drag set, so when I set the hook, the rod got up here. So I'm out of position. I was trying to catch up, and even though I'm throwing this 8:3 to 1 gear ratio reel, I just didn't get caught back up to the fish. And so when you're fishing in a kayak and you're fishing a frog and you're fishing in thick grass, just crank your drag down. There's really no reason. You can pull yourself to
There
it.
he is.
And that just cost me a fish. Oh, it's a bowfin. Oh man. I thought I had green gold. They're still fun. You know, we pride ourselves in the South on, you know, the phrase we've coined, Southern hospitality, but man, these guys have Midwest hospitality down pat, because they're some of the friendliest people, you know, anywhere I've ever been. Well, there was that one guy, I'm just kidding. He was from Boston. Get up there. There we go.
All right. Oh, come here. All right. Finally. So what we did is we were fishing that slop mat inside over there, and we were catching a lot of dogfish and a lot of pike. We came around the corner and we found this slough that had sliced through this whole section of grass. This is all new. What happens is these spring floods come in and they cut out new channels. And I can tell there's a nice bit of current flow through here. And within the first 5 minutes, we had one strike, and then we finally got this little guy to bite. I'm gonna go ahead and release him. But you can see this is gonna be exactly what we're looking for. Current coming down both sides. If you look on the banks, there's crayfish holes all over the place, so you can tell there's definitely a lot of crawdads in the area. I've seen some bait fish flicking around. I think as we keep working up this shoreline on either side, we're gonna get some fish here.
Not Right Kayak Fishing is brought to you by Bonafide Kayaks. Stability, agility, ultimate fishability. Yak Attack, make it yours. The iCatch app, the most advanced tournament fishing application. Power Pole Micro Anchor, swift, silent, secure, and small. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate with Lowrance. All right, guys, so here's the deal. We had biblical rain last night. In fact, I saw groups of animals in twos walking through town in the middle of the cross. And we got out this morning, but ended up having so much mud move in that the flats that we were in were unfishable. Okay, so we made the move, and along the way we picked up this guy. So this is Luther Cyphers. You guys have seen him in the past on Kayak Bassin TV with Yak Attack, and now he's here with Bonafide Kayaks. And so we're gonna head out here, we're gonna try to do the frogging thing, we're gonna do some plastics, and we're gonna see if we can't smash some bass in clean water, because the whole rest of the Mississippi River backwater has turned to chocolate milk. I'll just go ahead and be honest with you and tell you, the way I found this spot is a combination of Google Earth and bouncing this off of a buddy of mine, John Cox, who's a FLW pro, and he said, man, if I could fish a spot in a kayak there that I couldn't get to in my boat, this is where it's at. And there's no way to get here except for a couple of these little remote launches. So we talked to this car dealership, asked them if we could park in the back of the lot. They said it was cool, and here we are. Here we go, fish on. Good one. Ooh. Nice. Oh, it's a pike. I thought that was a giant bass, but it's a pike. It's still fun. Nice. Nice little northern action. Here we go. Oh, there he is. Man. That's 2 fish and 3 casts on this Lethal Weapon jig that I picked up right here in La Crosse. It's actually made by a company, Island Outdoors, right here in town. And that was cool. That fish hit it as soon as it hit the water. It was like an outfielder catching a pop fly. He was sitting there waiting on it. And man, are these things aggressive and feisty. Just a little chunky bass, man. Love it when you put in work. Look, this shirt is so dirty that I look homeless. Something about finding fish, especially on public water, right under the noses of the majority of the people out there fishing and catching them where others can't. I love it, I love it, I love it. Hey, so you guys know what Luther looks like wearing that hat? If you've ever seen Turtle Man from Animal Planet and Burt Reynolds from Deliverance, that's their love child right there. I love you, brother.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting last 8 or 9 months since starting this Bonafide thing. It's been a wild ride. I mean, there's been a lot of work to do. Everything on this boat, bow to stern, pretty much, we designed from the ground up. I think a lot of people expected us to come out with some, Martian rover spacecraft kind of thing, but it wasn't really ever about that. It was just about creating clean, straightforward, simple designs that work really, really, really well and that enhance the kayak angler's experience out on the water. That makes going kayak fishing more successful and more enjoyable. Chad's been an invaluable resource of ideas and information. I mean, he's one of the idea-laden person I've ever dealt with. So having that kind of feedback and involvement, keeping tabs with Chad along the way and some other people in the industry along the way, I think it really helped us to zoom in on the right features, zoom in on the right solution, and try to make a kayak that did what it was supposed to do.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this Mississippi River backwater adventure here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Got to thank the folks at Explore La Crosse for making all this happen. I also have to thank Jeremy Shaver of the Wisconsin Bass Nation for coming out here and showing us the ropes. The conditions were tough. We had some torrential downpour that muddied out a lot of the places that we were fishing, but we kept looking, we kept exploring, and we found some clean water and we found fish. I also got to say a special mention and a special thanks to my new buddy up here in Wisconsin, Jay Meyer. Jay, thanks for helping me out, man. I'm looking forward to come back up here in the spring and see if we can't find some giants in some shallow water. We'll see you guys next time for more kayak bass fishing. I think I can get 2 more before the sun drops below the horizon.